What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Do the Work Reacts. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for more content. And let's hop right into the video.
Woo! Some of y'all women gonna get mad at me today, so if you can't take constructive criticism, baby, keep on scrolling. Many of you women are not really what you think you're cracked up to be. Like, some of y'all are really not great people to be in relationships with. Y'all know I work with couples every single day, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a list of everything that I have to work through. First things first, quit coming into relationships trying to make a man secure your insecurities. That's your job. If you lack confidence, if you have low self-esteem, if there's still trauma that you're operating in, if you're self-critical, if you're judgmental when it comes to yourself, if you blame yourself, if you're still operating in guilt and trauma and everything else, baby, that's for you to handle, not him. Respect his space. Like, stop becoming so preoccupied and hyper aware of what a man has going on. As soon as you see his mood is off a little bit, you start becoming overwhelming. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Let me tell you how men are. A lot of men, when they are going through stuff, they may end up withdrawing or retreating because they're trying to figure it out. They're not always upset at you. Their moods are not changing just because of you. People go through things in a way that men are. They don't express themselves as much as we do as women. It's okay. Give that man some space. Oh yeah, the clinginess. Clinginess is cute to an extent, baby, but once you become codependent and you're always getting jealous whenever this person goes out, and you become anxious whenever they're not around you, you start blowing up their phones so they gonna hang out with their friends, that is problematic and you're gonna push them away.
All right, so she is bringing a lot of heat in this video. Now, since she's talking to women specifically, that's the angle that I'm going to emphasize. But make no mistakes, for every aspect that she hits in this video, it can apply to men as well. But let's stay focused for the purpose of the video. The first thing that she mentioned is insecurities. Now, I understand that we're all human and we're all, to a certain degree, doesn't matter who you are and what you've done, to a certain degree, we're going to have insecurities. That's fine. But from the outside in, I want to make this very, very important for you to understand. Do not try to fix someone else. You are not qualified unless you went to school for it and you had a little bit of practice and you decide to educate yourself for that sole purpose. You're most likely not qualified for it. I'm not doubting that someone somewhere might have a natural affinity for it, but leave that to the professionals, and even the professionals will guide a person along their path to try to show them what healthy habits they can do to overcome those insecurities. But I'm not ragging somebody for having them, but I don't want you fellas to come in and be a Captain Saver, you know what. I don't want you to fall into that trap because it's a bad investment and you're not going to get any real return. Now, her second point of respect his space, I want to touch on this subject because what a lot of women don't understand, and a lot of people too actually, is that men and women think very differently. Emotions are not magic. There are certain chemicals and electrical pulses that's going on in your brain, and men and women genuinely process information and emotions differently. We have different hormones running through our bodies. And the last thing that most men want to do is to just sit down and spew their emotions in a heated passion to tell you exactly how he feels. That's not how we operate. And a lot of women are really wanting that emotional aspect out of men when they don't understand that they're asking for a woman essentially in a man's body. And that's just not how that works. And I will admit, there is somewhat of a societal spin on that, of why men aren't comfortable talking about their emotions, because a lot of times it does get thrown in his face. And no matter who you are, who wants to be put into a situation where you open up, you're vulnerable, and it's thrown back into your face? So it's very common for that to happen to men, whether society wants to admit that or not.
As much as many of you all don't want to believe it, it's absolutely okay for a man to admire another woman, as long as it is a quick look, boom, and he's not staring and he doesn't have a wandering eye and he's not impulsive and he's not a cheater. If he's all of those, baby, why are you with him in the first place? You're ignoring the red flags. You're settling. As long as that man is not window shopping or ordering off the menu, relax. He has a visual appetite. If he sees a beautiful woman, it's okay to admire. Just like if you see a handsome man, you're going to admire him too. Relax. Stop letting yourself go. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you need to stop doing everything that you did in the beginning. If you always kept your skin together, your nails together, your lashes together, your hair done, your body was waxed up at the beginning, keep that same energy. Hold your end of the relationship. Remember, visual, visual, visual. A man still has a visual appetite and he loves what he sees, baby, because you're going to stimulate a whole lot more in him. Don't let yourself go because you secured the relationship. As much as you want to believe it, you're not always right. As much as you want to to always be in control, you have to let some things go, baby. You cannot love a man the way you want to love him. If you study him, if you pay attention, if you actually listen, I guarantee you he would tell you how to love him. You cannot limit the way you love him to a love language. That's why I hate the conversation of love language. You can ask a man, what's your favorite love language? And he can say, oh, acts of service. And you think that's all you have to do to love him? No, baby, you got to study your man.
I can actually understand from a woman's point of view that it's a hard pill to swallow to see your man checking out another woman. But the reality is that he's in a relationship with you. He is not blind. Just because he's committed to you does not mean that he does not find other women attractive. I know that sucks. I wish, I'm sure that they wish they could just magically snap their fingers and make that happen, but that's just not real life. Let's operate back into reality. But I do understand how it can be a hard pill to swallow. I don't think a dude should go out of his way to make sure that his girl sees that he's looking at another woman. But if it happens, just let it go. He's not doing anything. He's not even window shopping. He saw something he admired, he looked away. Get over it. Here's the portion of the video that I have to expose myself. She hit a bullet point that I'm personally guilty of, which is letting yourself go in a relationship. And men are just as guilty as this as women. Men care more because we're visual creatures, but all in all, I don't think it's okay for anyone to do so. When I met my lady 5 years ago, I was in a completely different physical shape than I am now. I essentially blew up like a balloon. And there's a lot of contributing factors because of that, but I'm going to take full responsibility and just say that I am the one that needs to take it upon myself to get into a better place. And I'm consistently losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. A year from now, you guys will see a totally different me on camera. But that being said, that has to be one of the biggest fears that men have, is that they get married and then the wife just suddenly just blows up, and then now you're stuck in it. Now she got you. Uncle Sam got you. If you break up, she get half your stuff. And that's just one of many reasons why guys aren't even getting married today. Now, she did mention love languages, and I'm with her. I'm not the biggest fan of the concept. I do think if you're going to use it as a tool, it's a good baseline for somebody that is brand new, or maybe somebody that you've been dating for a while and you really have not taken the time to fundamentally understand that person. But even in the book that I haven't read myself, but I have been around so many people that is obsessed with it, it does clarify inside that even though, let's say, number 1 of 5 is significantly more important to you than the other 4, it does not mean that the other 4 should go neglected. But like I said, that should just be used as a tool, as a baseline. And there's just so much more that goes into a relationship and understanding a person and how they tick than just 5 simple love languages.
Stop nagging him all the time. It's perfect. Okay, quit always expressing your dissatisfactions. If you see he's putting in efforts in other places, please uplift those efforts. Acknowledge him. Show that you appreciate that. If it's something like a pet peeve, baby, compromise. I know a lot of women have a hard time compromising. Baby, you got to find a middle ground. Sometimes it's just not worth you bringing up a dissatisfaction. A lot of you all just be nagging. You're pushing that man away. It's okay. He's not always going to fit your idea. He's not always going to satisfy you in every area. Baby, I promise you, every trait that you may have on your beautiful checkoff list, he may not measure up to every single one of them. That's why you have to be selective. But stop nagging all the time. You can't read minds and you can't predict the future. So stop trying to interpret things and stop trying to jump to conclusions. Baby, it's not healthy. It's a distorted way of thinking and it will kill your relationship. Being independent is okay, but why do you have to be so independent that you're unreceptive? Men love to be needed. If you're so independent that you won't even allow him to help, what is he there for? Stop involving everybody in your relationship. I don't care if it's friends or family. They have no place to be in your relationship. So stop involving them. Their opinions do not matter. Their advice does not matter. They are not the person that you were sleeping with. Relax. You think you're doing something when you're comparing your man to everybody else. You're comparing your man to your best friend's husband, yada, yada, yada. And now he's pretending to be something that he's not. That's very uncomfortable for a man. Baby, constructive criticism and destructive criticism are real things. If you're always criticizing, you're going to push him away and he's going to end up faking things and that's going to make him unhappy and then the intimacy is going to decline. And whose fault is that going to be? Yeah, because you were comparing. Many of you ladies are not the inspiration that you think that you are. I'm sorry to break it to you. If you're always operating in your comfort zone and you refuse to take risks and you lack intellectual intimacy, you don't go out there and try to learn new things, baby, you're not reaching new opportunities, you're always low in your confidence, you're not really inspiring this person. If this person is trying to grow, and you want to stay and you want to be on social media or on your phone and everybody else's business, and you're not really doing anything to add to his fruition, baby, eventually he's going to grow without you. Pessimism. Stop being negative all the time. Communication. Learn to listen. Validate their experiences. Don't interrupt. You know what? The list can go on. Just work on your communication, baby, okay? Now, I know some of y'all gonna get to the end of this video and be like, Look, if you want a healthier relationship, start taking criticism. Take each piece if it applies and let it apply. If it doesn't, then go on about your business. But if you want a healthier relationship, if you're dating, if you're a girlfriend, if you're a wife, whatever it may be, you want a healthy relationship, baby, take the criticism as constructive. Take it as a learning tool. Use it and change.
It's not rocket science to know if you're constantly feeding your relationship negativity, you're going to be in a climate that is miserable for both parties, and most likely the relationship is going to end. If you're constantly telling your partner that you hate this personality trait about them, that you hate whatever that they're doing, and that's the only thing that you do without having any type of positive conversations, put 2 and 2 together. Just use a little bit of common sense. And that's a lot of relationships these days, and it's no secret why so many relationships fail, let alone talking about marriage. The last part that I want to touch on is when she mentioned about bringing other people into your relationship. Listen, if you have a problem with your partner, you settle that shit at home. It's nobody else's business but you guys. And bringing other people into the relationship only complicates things, and you're setting yourself up for failure because you're having a completely different personality give that spin on your intimate relationship that they have no real investment in. And we're all adults. We know if someone is being actually abusive, that's a completely different story. But for most cases, it does not need other people involved. You need to handle it at home and figure it out like adults. Until next time.